Ho ho ho, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the last episode of Christmas month on the Soapy Bubbles Reviews channel. And this is a very special episode, the Soapy Bubbles Christmas Special. In today's video, we are going to be going over a film that has been considered one of the worst Christmas films ever made, that is also part of a very popular franchise. Without further ado, on with the review.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
I enjoyed the first 6 Star Wars films as a kid, my favourite being A New Hope from the originals and Attack of the Clones from the sequels. However, I have never considered myself a member of the Star Wars fandom and would rather avoid arguments with its members. Now, while the fandom is divided on several issues, one thing they seem to universally agree on for the most part is an undying hatred for a film I think George Lucas would consider the biggest mistake of his career, the Star Wars Holiday Special. In an article by Vice from 2014, the Star Wars Holiday Special was lambasted by film critic Nathan Rabin. He was quoted as saying, "I'm not convinced the special wasn't ultimately written and directed by a sentient bag of cocaine, and that if it has a single virtue, it's that it does eventually end." I'd actually never seen this film before I made this video, at least as far as I remember, although I'd heard of its infamy ever since I set foot on the YouTube film commentary community. But is it as bad as its reputation precedes? Let's find out. The film opens with Chewbacca and Han Solo outrunning 2 Imperial destroyers by going into hyperspace. Their mission is to get Chewie home to his family in time for a holiday called Life Day. Meanwhile, Chewie's family await his return on the Wookiee homeworld, Kashyyyk. We then get this weird-ass fever dream of a segment where Chewie's father Itchy shows Chewie's son Lumpy what I assume is some sort of toy or something, with these weird-ass alien things dancing around. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be honest. I think it's supposed to be a circus to entertain Lumpy, but it's just weird and reminds me of the Chili Down scene from Labyrinth. The music is really weird and ominous sounding too. Chewie's wife Marla contacts Luke Skywalker in hopes of finding out where Chewie is after her scan for the Millennium Falcon has failed, although Luke doesn't know what has happened to them. Then we are treated to one of the worst and most confusing segments in this film. Marla watches this bizarro cooking show hosted by a character named Chef Gourmanda, who is played by comedian Harvey Korman.
Stir, whip, 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 stir. Stir, whip, 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 stir. Come on, faster all together now, cooking can be fun. Stir, whip, 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 stir. Stir, whip, whip, stir. Wah!
What in the hell am I watching right now? I don't know whether to laugh or be terrified. What is happening? What does this have to do with Chewie getting back home? I'm so confused. And the strange shenanigans don't end there. A local trader, Sorn Dan, comes to the Chewbacca residence and gives Itchy a hologram machine as a present for Life Day. Itchy puts it on and is shown to be viewing a robo-waifu fantasy video starring Diane Carroll. Why are we watching an alien granddad watch VR porn on Christmas? Stormtroopers force their way into the residence to search for Chewie, but the family tries to distract them using some kind of holographic television. We then essentially just get a music video from the band Jefferson Starship, and the song isn't that bad. I'd go out of my way to listen to this. After threatening the family, the Imperial officer instructs Marla to keep Lumpy quiet as to avoid any kind of conflict, so she makes the boy watch a cartoon starring his father and his friends. I get that this is meant to be cool and all, but it doesn't really make any sense in universe. The rebels are supposed to be an underground force fighting against an empire. Why would there be a cartoon of them? Lumpy tries to create a device to trick the Imperial forces and watches a strange manual video, also starring Corman, although this time he's not in drag. The next segment shows a character named Akmina running the Iron Mosley bar that was featured in A New Hope, but much like most of the other segments in the film, it has no bearing on the main plot. One of the stormtroopers realize at the last minute that they've been duped by Lumpy with a fake recording, but Chewie and Han arrive just in time to save them. We even get a Wilhelm scream as well. The Life Day festival begins, and it's just as weird of an acid trip as the rest of this god-awful film. I've never seen such a jumbled mess of media in all my life. Neil Breen's films are more coherent than this. I think that if they had just kept everything closer to the main story of Chewie trying to get home, without all the weird segments, then it could have been something at least kind of cute. One thing I was not expecting before watching this is that this film is a musical. Why? Among all the weird fever dream-esque segments, adding musical numbers just makes the entire experience even more jarring. The film doesn't really seem to have the same budget, and has clearly not been preserved that well compared to the other Star Wars films, but while I think this whole film is a nightmare and probably should never have been made, I do think it deserves its place in history at the same time. Well, that's all for this video. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas, and as always, thanks for watching. See you all next year!
I'm the selection box god. All these other boys fraud. If they just eat the one bar, would I eat them all? I'm the selection box god. All these other boys fraud. If they just eat the one bar, would I eat them all? I'm the selection box god. All these other boys fraud. They just eat the one bar.